Welcome to the Maryland Retail Products Producer Program. This program is for producers and craft food entrepreneurs seeking to expand their retail product sales beyond the farm gate. This presentation is one component of the online training materials available on the University of Maryland Extension's Ag Marketing website. Additional training, educational materials, articles, and real-time educational opportunities can be found there. My name is Ginger Myers, and I'm the Marketing Specialist for Agriculture and Food Systems with the University of Maryland Extension. This presentation discusses the retail standards for product packaging. Your packaging sells your product. It is your brand. Your packaging is part of your brand identification. Your logo, package size or shape, how it's sealed, disposal of the packaging, and all other important messages travel with your product package. Packaging has basically two functions. The first, of course, is a physical protection, which keeps things from breaking, cracking, spilling. Think of a carton for eggs. And also it can help with temperature control in that it seals it away from heat or cold. It's also barrier protection from oxygen, water vapor, dust, things that may contaminate it, and is vital in extending shelf life as a primary function. Does your product and package stand out? Some experts think that package design is more important than the product itself for attracting customers, at least to get their eyes on your product, because people buy with their eyes. Does your packaging reflect the quality of your product and create a memorable link to make that product easier to find or package again? One example is if you think of Morton Salt, the blue box with the little girl with the umbrella. It's the package it sells. Salt's pretty a common element, but with that package, 5-year-old could go into a grocery store, find it on the shelf, and make the purchase. You need to know your customer or buyers to what they're looking for in their product and in the package. A market niche means that your first concern is not your product itself, but how your product fits into a target market that you have chosen. Previously, you've spent time looking for target customers, segmenting that, determining their wants and needs and why they would purchase your product. Now we need to have a package that sells all that message as well. It may deal with serving size or packaging preference. Do your customers want something that's a Ziploc? Is it easy to tear open? A jar with a screw lid? Other twist ties? How would they prefer to find the package and deal with it? How is the product displayed? Does your package work well with that design? Can you see the product? Or can you see photos of the product? A blank sheet with just names on doesn't really sell your product if looking at it, a product draws folks' eyes into it and makes it very appealing. How chefs want product delivered is very different than what retail stores want on a shelf. They may want cases, they may want it sorted and bagged, they may want standard units like pints or clamshells. Again, know what your customer or buyer is expecting in the package of that type of product. Consider some other practical variables. Durability. Even the most beautiful package won't be good if it's easily damaged, spilled, cracked, or left open to spoil. So consider what kind of protection your product might need. Does it need an internal liner? Should it be done in glass? Should it be done in some kind of airtight container with a lid of some kind? Is your product breakable? You certainly want to include elements to protect that product either in the packaging or perhaps in a separate box to keep it from being damaged. Function. Is your product perishable? This is one of the biggest concerns with a package to get the design to keep the product safe and shelf stable. If you need to have the product shelf stable and preserved, then your packaging might need to include an airtight component. Practical variables include how it's displayed or carried. Will it stack well into a shelf or on a table? Does it stand on its own, or will it fall over and be difficult to stack and stock on the shelf? Odd-shaped packages can be attractive, but if they fall over and they're hard to display neatly, they won't be attractive to your buyer or to the customer. Also consider if your package makes it more difficult for the customer to carry it in her shopping bag or get it home because of either its long design or its bulky shape or no way to actually grab hold of the product. The next 5 slides were taken from a presentation in the Massachusetts Specialty Food Association meeting several years ago about 10 key ingredients for developing successful retail products. I include these here because then they're visual adaptations for what products can look like under different store situations to keep in mind when you're designing and developing the outer shell for your product package. A supermarket freezer case. If you're doing a frozen product, perhaps a farm package of frozen vegetables or a specialty product that you freeze, consider what the packages might look like behind the misty door. Is it confusing? Is it hard to see? You need to consider that the type and the title is very clear and readable, even if it's a little misty on that door. Does it stand out from a crowd? This is an end cap display where they're using both the color and the design. Now, granted, it's been given its own display case to make it stand out, but very attractive, eye-appealing, easy to read the names on, and the colors go with the product inside. The product of this package is basically a brown or dark brown, so they picked other earth tones to highlight that in their package. If you're fortunate enough to be able to sell your product in bulk to a club store or aggregated in a co-op outlet, you're going to need a way to keep it organized in a tray. Many of these outlets don't have shelf space per se that you stack on, but a larger volume that will fit into a display box to hold your packaging as well. Shapes are attractive to the eye. Rather than always having it square, and they can be effective with the text as well. But avoid anything too cute or odd shaped. It makes the package, the product harder to read the label. It's also a little more cumbersome on the shelf to stack if it's an odd shaped container. And oftentimes odd shaped, particularly glass or plastic containers, are also a little more expensive if that's what your packaging includes. You love legibility. You want to be able to read the name of your product very quickly and what it says. You only get a few seconds to capture the eye, and when the buyer is scanning it on a shelf, you want your product to be accessible very quickly. And the buyers who may be stocking your retail products will look at this as well to see how readable this is, how legible, how eye-catching it is to the consumer. All of this might require some more help. You can get professional help with design and input. There is more information on packaging design on the Maryland Rural Enterprise Development Center website in the module for resources for established businesses. You may also find there some additional references for label design or sealing or product presentation and production sealing in a package. Thank you for viewing this presentation. Be sure to check back at this website for more training material and resources for successfully creating and marketing your products.